Yo guys, Features Gaming here and welcome back to another video here on the channel, and today this is going to be a very weird video because as you can see we're not on a game, we're on something that looks very confusing, and it may look familiar to you, it may not, but it is inside of OBS Studio, and I've just got an encoding overloading message. Brilliant. But yeah, we are on OBS and I'm going to be basically giving you a tutorial of how I set up my streams because I have a friend who's recently got a computer and he's basically asked me to basically do a video of what's the best streaming settings to use them basically. So they will vary from computer to computer, so you really have to, it's mainly trial and error, but I'm going to basically go through what each thing does, or the most essential things that most essential things and what they do, and give you a basic guideline on what you should do. So I currently run on a i7 computer with a Nvidia GTX 1060 graphics card on a laptop as well. So yeah, the PCs may be a bit more powerful than a laptop with the same specs, but this is basically just mainly going to be a guide. So I'm going to basically show you everything that you need to do in order to set up your stream. So let's start with the most obvious one, and that is setting up what you want to showcase. So let's go on to this little plus icon down here, and it's to create a new scene, and it'll basically pop up with this message saying add a scene, please enter the name of your scene. So we're just going to call this test. Name this whatever you want. So we click that, and all you can see is a black screen. You can still hear my voice though, because obviously the audio meter is going up. So let's go back onto the screen capture so you guys can actually see what I'm doing. And then basically inside of the sources scene, you basically click this plus icon, and then basically it will tell you what you want to add. So I'm going to go back to that scene that I created. That stinger transition, I'll show you what you need to do in order to apply something like that. So I'm going to click that plus icon that I showed you, and I'm basically going to click on display capture. And this basically adds on my display just like this. So basically what I did is I clicked the plus, display capture, and then inside of that I have it set to my display. If you have a monitor, it will automatically display the monitor. I am actually using something in order to get this onto my screen, because when I don't have anything plugged in, it will just show a black screen. So if you are just using a laptop, you will need something in order to showcase this, like a separate monitor or a capture card, or even just change the GPU settings to integrated graphics. That also works as well. Let's go ahead and add in my Facecam then as well. So let's click add, and then you would click video capture device. And I already have my existing webcam device, but I'm just going to go ahead and show you what you need to do. So again, we're just going to call this test device. We don't really need to. And then basically you have a bunch of different settings you can choose. So I think this one is my webcam, or one of them is my camera. I'm not really sure which one is my camera. Just go through all of them and it should hopefully pick up the one. I think this is my one. If you click configure video, then it may come up, but I'm not too sure. But as you can see, just select the one that works, click OK. So I'm going to delete that and bring over the one from my other device if this stops freezing on me, which I think it has. So after OBS crashing on me for some random reason, that may happen, but if it does, just close down the program and start it back up. So I'm going to go ahead and get the Facecam stuff from my other device, or from my other scene, and basically copy and paste that in here so you can see my face. And basically all this is my webcam device. As I said, it is that one that I did talk about. You can also configure your settings as well, so you can basically do the resolution or frames a second, the resolution, FPS, video formats, color space if you want to do anything of that, buffering. Basically you can change all of the stuff on the webcam. You can also right click and go to filters and add some filters. I do have a crop one as well, so that's showing my entire basically webcam, but I can crop it down as well if I want to. And I had to crop it down to fit it into my Facecam, which is basically a Facecam Overlay, which is this right here. So, and then to group it, you just select the ones that you want, right click, and there should be a group setting, and that should work. So I'm going to show you how to apply the stinger that I had. This thing that comes across the screen. To do that, That's basically done by a stinger that I basically made myself. And basically in the scene transitions, click this plus icon down here, and you can basically select from swipe, slide, stinger, fade to color, and luma wipe. So you can select any of those. I obviously have a stinger, that's the technical name of it. So I selected stinger, and then I was able to name my stinger and apply that video file as well. Another things you can do is profiles. So I do actually have two different profiles. I have one for streaming and I also have another one for recording, because I can record at 1080 60, however I can stream at 1080 30, and I'll get onto that in a minute as well. Also, you have your view stuff, your scene collections, tools, help, all of those panels as well in the top left, and yeah, obviously all of my different sources. Let's jump into the settings then. So inside of general, you have your language and also your theme. So you can have it as dark. You can have it as that if you want to, which to me looks a little bit weird. You can have that as well, and you can also have just system as well, which looks very old school. I like having it as dark as default because that's just what I've learned to use. And again, you can have automatically check for updates on startup, and also another few things as well. Output, you have all of those stuff, source alignment snappings, projectors, system tray, preview, importers, all of these you can basically switch. Going on to stream, this is where you actually input your things to stream. I should actually move this over so you can actually see my face. So here you can basically select which platform you want to stream to. So there's Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, Restream, Twitter, all of those you can basically choose from. So click YouTube. I think you can actually connect to your YouTube account in some way. I can't remember how you do that. But I basically have it set to the backup YouTube ingest server, and then you basically input your stream key here, and I'm not going to show that. Basically, how you find your stream key is on your YouTube studio, where you go set up your live stream. There should be something at the bottom that says stream key. Just copy and paste that into OBS, and you should be good to go. In output, then, you have your streaming and recording settings. I have two different profiles, as I said. So the video bitrate, this is where you basically need to experiment a little bit. This is basically how good of the quality of the game is going to be. So on my racing games, on 12,000 bitrate, it doesn't lose any quality at all, mainly, as opposed to like 4,000 where it did lose a bit of quality. So you really have to experiment with that. On recording, I only have that set to 6,000 because you can have a bit more video bitrate when you are recording and not streaming, so keep that in mind. Encoder, the NVENC encoder is a new encoder, and basically what it does is if you're using an NVIDIA card, which I am doing, it shouldn't slow anything down as much. But if you don't have that, if you have a different type of graphics card, you do have hardware and software as well. So that's X264 or QSV. And as obviously, if you have an NVIDIA card, I just basically recommend going on NVENC. You have your audio bitrate as well, so that's how good of quality your voice is going to be, or your game sound. Encoder preset as well, you have a bunch of different settings. Most of this is just trial and error, just try it and see what happens. You can enable advanced encoder settings, which basically disables that thing, and if you click to ticket, then you have this thing as well, so let's leave that on performance. Recording path as well, I mean, you can change the recording as well if you want to, but I just have it easier to set on the same with streaming as well. Obviously, I can't really change much of these things. I can't change the recording thing when I'm recording. Similarly, if I'm streaming, I can't change anything of the video, and I'll get to that in a minute as well. Going on to audio, this is where you can basically select all of your audio devices. So basically, do this to your microphone. You have your speakers as well. You have your sample rate and the channels as well. The meters, as well. You can go and have these. So this changes the things down here, I think. Or you can basically do it a little different as well. So yeah, mess around with all of these settings basically. Select the hotkeys for stuff as well. So going on to the video, this is basically where you're going to configure your video settings. So obviously I record at 1080 at 60, but I stream at 1080 30. So basically on the profiles thing, which I have up here, obviously it's going to play that sound because I can't go onto it. I basically have another one down there that has 30. I can't show it to you because I am recording at the same time. And you basically change that to 30 and then save that as a different profile so you don't have to keep switching and changing it all the time. Hotkeys as well, you can basically select all of your hotkeys that you want to do as well. Or if you have a Stream Deck like I do, you can do it all from there as well. Advanced, again, this is just some other things that you can mess around with. Just basically mess around with all of these settings until you have the right thing. I recommend just streaming as a private thing and just seeing if it works. Go to output, mess around with these settings. I think the two mainly biggest things that you're going to mess around with is the streaming settings and also the video settings. So if you have a laptop similar to me, then you can basically just go ahead and copy all of these videos if you're going to record. If you're going to stream, just switch the video bitrate to 6000. Again, experiment with that because that is really mainly down to your CPU. And messing around with the video settings. I was able to do 1080-60 streaming with a video bitrate of 4000, but now that I've changed this to 12,000 on recording and 6,000 on streaming, it shouldn't matter too much. So yeah, just mess around with these settings and you should get it fine. Obviously my PC is being a little weird at the moment, so hopefully I can get that sorted out in the near future. But yeah, just a brand new computer out of the box should be able to handle 1080-60 mostly. So that's if you have an NVIDIA card, GTX 1000 series or higher. Basically just mess around with these settings is all I can basically recommend until you have the perfect sweet spot. Now, this didn't actually take me that long to basically tell you what I do. Basically, I was actually intending to record a bit more, but I'll basically go through what else you can do as well. So let's click the plus icon and just seeing what else we can do. So you have an audio input capture, so you can basically import your own mic if you want to, if you can't find it in the settings. You also have an audio output capture as well, which I'm not really sure what that does because I don't really use that. Browser to capture a browser, and this is how I can basically have my subs and donations thing, event list, donation goal, all of that. You can import the actual URL of the browser as well. Color source as well, you can input that as well. Display capture, I've already covered that. Game capture, this is another thing. This is what I use to capture my Roblox. I basically have it set to capture Roblox and all of these different games as well. I basically have on each of them a game capture. So say for example Roblox, you can hear the music. I basically have game capture there, that's the game capture icon. Euro Truck again, the GTA, that actually says GTA 5, it should say Euro Truck. I'm not that organised. Minecraft, I have that set to Minecraft as well. Live for Speed again, you can't see anything on that one. But yeah, you can basically see how you can add in a game capture instead of just capturing your browser. Obviously the display capture is easier, but I basically have it set so I can basically only show things I want to, which is why I use game captures and browsers as well. Image, you can input an image, and this is basically what I use for my Facecam Overlay. This is just an image that I put with a transparent background. I have that in front of my Facecam, so it looks like that my Facecam has like a kind of border. If I go over here, you can basically see how my arm doesn't go past that border, and if I hover over it as well, you can see how basically all of the lines are basically going outside of the border, but because I have the border in front of my Facecam, it just basically cuts it off wherever, you know, my hand goes, or wherever any part of my body goes really. It will cut it off at the edge. So yeah, you can import images, you can import a slideshow as well if you so want to. You can input a media source, and that is what I use for kind of like the Roblox game or the Roblox scene. I have the request music and the BRB music. So basically, these two are basically both media sources. So the request music for when I basically go into the game will basically play this. And it'll play that for basically the length of the video. You can actually obviously say it's a loop as well, so it loops it. I'll show you what that does in a little bit later. On my starting soon scene, like it goes. Hopefully if I've got it set correct, as I've just looped it, it should play it again, hopefully. Yeah, it does. So you can basically set that to loop as well. Now, say for example, if we can get off that, say for example you don't really want to have that starting like right away. You can see on these two down here, I should actually probably switch to my test stream. And let me just import one of them quickly. Let's just import my my request music, for example. As you can see down here, I've just unchecked the eyeball, and basically when I click it, it'll start from the very beginning. Similarly, if I had another one, let's just go to media source quickly and go on to intro music as well. It'll just play it. So if you just basically disable it and then start it back up, it'll play it exactly from the very beginning. So let's go to my countdown scene again. You can see how it's doing it. And if I basically just click that eyeball that I showed you previously, it will make the screen black. But then if I press it, then obviously it will show it. I used to use that, but I don't anymore. So let's go back to my test scene. And we can also delete these as well. To delete them, you just select the ones that you want, click delete, confirm it, and there you go. Another thing you can add is a scene as well, so you can basically import a scene inside of a scene. And I know it sounds weird, but you can do that for basically if you want to do like an instant replay on streams as well. You do need additional plugins for that, and you can actually get plugins as well. Text, GDI, self-explanatory. You can put a text on your screen, and I used this for my subtext basically, which has the like and subscribe thing, so I can basically enable that if I so want to. And I have that for my Roblox scene, as you can see, as you saw as well. Video capture device, we've already gone through that, and window capture as well. And this is basically how if you can want to capture a window. So say for example, if you wanted to just capture OBS, if you wanted to capture a browser source, like a browser window, then you can basically do that rather than having to click browser, if you see what I mean. So I think that's basically gone through everything. The main message I can basically just give you is just mess around with these settings. I've basically given you a baseline on what you can go with, but the best thing is just to mess around with these settings, because I can't really guarantee that my settings will work for you, because every computer is different. So just mess around with these settings, and you should have a good one. So thank you for watching. I'm gonna go now. So thank you very much for watching. I've already said that. Like if you found this video enjoyable or entertaining or helpful, then do leave a like. Subscribe for more. Become a channel member as well if you want to. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video, and I'll play you out with the intro music. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Actually, I don't think I can play you out, so I'm just going to end it. Thank you, and peace out.